What did you say?
No, we could have picked a better month.
Yeah.
Longer than 28 days.
Like November.
In what way?
28.
Well, more days to celebrate.
Why is this thing so?
So that's just.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
What?
We got a 3-day weekend. Keep forgetting.
Oh.
Is today another worksheet or is it book? So,
He gave you the evil
I made you guys a cheat sheet, and I never went down and got it.
me and that Dodge.
Celebrate West Day. Not for everybody, for sure.
Long time in the but I actually have to go. 100% out.
You should.
Actually, yeah.
That's okay. Just remind me, I'll go down later.
All
right, so.
Bob and I actually have to go. I'll be back.
Okay, but you need to do that before now, from now on. So go fast.
And then Bond looked like she was gonna be,
With good intention, I said that. It was with good intention.
All right. So we have 2 days left of new stuff today and Monday. And then on Tuesday, you'll take a practice quiz. And then on Wednesday, you'll have your last quiz, okay? So today, the first part is similar to the first part yesterday, except when we get done finding whatever it may be, whether it's cosine, sine, or whatever it is that they're asking, you have to do one extra step, okay? So again, these are, so I have a cheat sheet that I made up, that I printed. It has these. The only thing that's different from the cheat sheet you guys have, I think on the one you have, these 2 things aren't on here, just these 2. And then I added this. So this right here, just, I don't know if you, when I get you your cheat sheet, hopefully you can read this okay, but it'll tell you which of the trig functions are negative and which ones are positive. And that will be on your cheat sheet. Yeah.
So after every, like, for the ones that we're simplifying, we have to say that, like, the question.
No. I don't make you do that, so. Okay. So again, these are just a little bit harder than what we did yesterday. So a lot of kids asked me yesterday, like, how do I know what equation to start with? And if you have sine, you are going to use one of these, okay? And it really doesn't matter which one you choose. You're gonna get the same answer which one you choose. I just always choose the main one. But if it has sine in it, you're gonna use this one, okay? So if I go back here, that's why I chose that one. Now here, I know my sine is -2/7, and I'm squaring that, plus cosine squared equals 1, okay? Do you guys know what happens when you square a negative? Positive. So this would be 4/49 plus cosine squared equals 1. And then I'd have to subtract 4/49.
Guess what I got, Bob?
A donut.
Okay, shh.
No.
So we would get cosine squared is equal to, shh. So this one Okay, Caleb. This one, you guys could do this on your calculator. So you could go 1 minus parenthesis 4 divided by 49. But also 1 is 49/49. So 49/49 minus 4/49 is going to be 45/49. Okay, guys, that's enough. So now what we're going to do is take the square root of both of these, and we would get cosine equals plus or minus. Now, square root of 45, is there a perfect square that goes into 45?
Nope.
Are you sure?
Nope.
9 does, right? So if I have this as 9 times 5, and then the bottom square root of 49 is 7, and then I would have, the square root of 9 is what? 3. So I can go like this and bring my 3 out, and it would be 3 root 5 over 7, okay? Now, at that point, I would look at what quadrant I'm in, and do you guys know that from 180 to 270 is going to be in this third quadrant, okay? And you can use this chart or what we're looking for cosine, right? You could also use this one, and in the third, you probably can't read this, but it tells you that cosine is negative, sine's negative, and so on. So in the quadrant 3, the only 2 that are positive are tangent and cotangent. So what that tells us then is our cosine is actually, let's see where I'm going to write this. Cosine is actually going to be negative 3 root 5 over 7. But they are asking us for secant. What is the relationship between cosine and secant? Aren't they reciprocal? Okay, so do you get that your secant then would be the reciprocal of this, which is negative 7 over 3 root 5? And let me erase this.
Is that you today?
What's that? Is what? The worksheet from yesterday?
No, that one there. I was losing.
Yeah, yesterday we didn't have to do this part. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, do you guys get, you can't leave root 5 on the bottom? So we'd multiply by root 5 on top and bottom. And so we'd get negative 7 root 5 over, what's root 5 times root 5? 5. And 5 times 3 is 15. Now, when you look at this to check it, you always want to check that the 7 over 15 can't be reduced. And then obviously this 5, that there's not a perfect square that goes into it, okay? So that is our answer for secant. And then you could look to, like, should have our secant been negative? And like I said, you can't read this from where you guys are, but this will be on your cheat sheet, and it is. So now let's look at this next one. Just gonna write this really quick. Okay, so now this one is the one that takes the most work, okay? Again, it's giving us cosine. So what that means is you're going to use this that has cosine in it, okay? So we have sine squared plus cosine is negative 2 root 5 over 5 squared, and that equals 1, right? So now what we're going to do, this is just going to be sine squared. Now when you square a negative 2, what would that be? 4. What about when you square a negative, or I'm sorry, a root 5? 5. Root 5 squared gives us 5. And on the bottom, we have 5 squared, which is 25. Okay, now, do you guys get this is 20 over 25? Okay. You could have simplified that fraction already, but I'm just showing my work. What is 20 over 25 reduced to? 4/5, right? And that equals 1. And then what we're going to do is subtract 4/5 from both sides. And I get sine squared equals 1. Think of 1 as 5/5. What's 5/5 minus 4/5? 1/5. And then I'm going to go ahead and take the square root of both sides. Okay, so square root of sine squared is sine, and then I have plus or minus. The square root of 1 is 1. And then on the bottom, I have that root 5. Can I leave a root 5 on the bottom? No. So I'm going to multiply by root 5 here and here. And I get sine equals, to get on top, I'd have root 5. And what's root 5 times root 5? 5. Now we have to decide, should this one be positive or negative? It's sine, and it's, what quadrant is this? Isn't this quadrant 2? Do you get this is 90, 180? And sine is positive as well as cosecant is positive. And we have sine, so it's going to be positive. Now, where this is different from what we did yesterday, we would have just found sine and then done. And this one's kind of a pain because they're asking us for tangent. Okay. If I know my sine is this, and if I know that my cosine is this, how could I find my tangent? Yeah, what is tangent defined as? Yeah, it's sine over cosine. So what I have to do now is use that. Oops. What am I doing? Okay, so what I have to do, tangent right here is sine over cosine. And the sine we found to be root 5 over 5. And then sine is negative. So this is divided by negative 2 root 5 over 5. When you guys have like a fraction where you have like fractions inside of fractions, okay? So we have a fraction divided by a fraction. Where the division sign is, it can be helpful to make that longer so you know where the actual division is, okay? So now let's write what this really is. It's root 5 over 5 divided by negative 2 root 5 over 5, which is the same as root 5 over 5 times the reciprocal of this, which is negative 5 over 2 root 5.
What is negative?
As long as, yes, I could have left that negative down there. You just have to realize you have a negative in the problem, okay? That negative doesn't go away. But where you put it at that point, I could have put it at the top, on the top, on the bottom. I could have even brought it out front. So now do you guys get these 5s cancel? And these root 5s cancel? And can you tell what your answer would end up being? On top, it would be what? And on the bottom, it would be 2. And what are we missing? The negative. Very good. So that is your answer. So like I said, especially this one, where you're finding tangent, it's a lot of work. So now let's go to here. We have one more like this, and then we'll go on to the other part. So here, Again, they're giving us cosine and they want us to find cosecant. So if they're asking us for, or if they're giving us cosine, we have to use the formula that has cosine. So what I'm gonna do, I don't know my sine squared, but my cosine squared is 1/3 squared, and that equals 1, okay? So now I have sine squared plus 1 squared is 1, 3 squared is 9, and that equals 1, okay? Now I'm gonna subtract 1/9. And I get sine squared equals, now do you guys get that 1 in this case, I can think of that as 9/9. What's 9/9 minus 1/9? 8/9. Very good. So then I would take the square root of both sides. Okay. Now put your phone away, Andy, or I'm going to take it away. So what we're going to have is plus or minus. No, root 8. Is there a perfect square that goes into 8?
No, always 4.
4, right? 4 times 2 over root 9 is 3. Now, could I take something out of that? Root 4 is 2, right? So it's going to be plus or minus 2 root 2 over 3. Now, if we look at what quadrant is 270 to 360? Okay.
Sec third.
270 to 360, isn't it fourth? Okay. So what is positive in the fourth quadrant is cosine and secant. So they give us sine, and so sine has to be negative, right? So I'm going to just get rid of this plus or minus in front and make this that it's negative. Now, again, you have to look back at what it is that they want, and they want us to find cosecant, which is the reciprocal of sine. So if I know sine and I want to find cosecant, I'm going to do the reciprocal of this, which is 3 over 2 root 2. Can I leave this root 2 on the bottom?
No. Times about root 2. That's a 2.
So I would get negative 3 root 2 over, what's root 2 times root 2? 2 times 2 is 4. And that is your answer. You could check too, like, should cosecant be negative? And it should. These are the two that are positive. Okay. So now we're going to go into the problems like we did second yesterday, which I think they're a lot quicker anyway. So if you guys look at this, when you see two things squared and or just one thing squared and they're plus or minus, look at this and see if it's one of them. What was it again? Cosecant squared minus cotangent squared. Isn't it this one? And it's 1. Okay. So basically this is just 1. So 2 times 1 is 2. Easy enough?
Yeah, that's how all the
Okay.
problems are.
Now, do you guys see that I could factor something out of this? A 2. And do you get when you do that, you would look at 2 times what gives you 2, and that's 1, minus 2 times what would give us this. Wouldn't I just need a sine squared? Right? Now is 1 minus sine squared one of these? Isn't it this? Cosine squared. So what I would have then is 2 cosine squared. And that is your answer. Okay. Then if I look at this one, what's the rule with adding or subtracting fractions with your denominators? They have to be the same. And isn't this the same? So couldn't I combine them and put both of them over sine squared? And wouldn't this be 1 minus cosine squared? Now, what is 1 minus cosine squared?
Sine squared.
Sine squared. And what would sine squared divided by sine squared be?
Oh.
1? Makes sense? Okay, so now if we look at this page, what's,
I like this pace, keep going.
what's sine squared plus cosine squared? On that sheet, sine squared plus cosine squared is 1,
One.
okay? And then look at your cheat sheet, what's 1 minus cosine
Sine
squared?
squared.
Sine squared,
Oh.
okay? Now, can I write 1 over sine squared as something?
Yeah, it can be, cosecant squared.
Cosecant squared,
Squared, yeah.
okay? So like, say on the test, you guys, say you gave me 1 over sine squared, that's not the simplest form because it's the sine squared's on the bottom, so they want you to take it this step further. But you would need to show this, both of these steps, and then if you stopped here, you wouldn't lose the whole points, you would lose, like, say this was 2 points, you'd lose 1, okay?
But technically, isn't that answer in terms of sine and cosine?
It is, but you don't always leave, to do the problem, you keep them in sine and cosine, but your final answer isn't always going to be in terms of sine and cosine. Okay, so let's look at this. How do I write 1 minus cosine squared?
Sine squared.
Sine squared. Why don't we just look and not just guess?
That's what I did.
Okay, what's secant?
Secant.
But I mean 1 over
Oh, yeah.
1 over cosine. Okay. How can I write cotangent in terms of sine and cosine? Cotangent
Cosine over sine.
is cosine over sine. So what I'm doing here, and this is kind of what Owen just said, you do want everything to be in terms of sine and cosine when you're doing the problem, okay? Then I have plus. How can I write tangent? Sine over cosine. How could I write secant in terms of sine?
1 over cosine.
1 over cosine. And then I have that cosine squared, which I can just leave like that, okay? Once you get everything into terms of sine and cosine is when you're gonna start crossing stuff out. So do you guys get it? If I have a cosine here and a cosine on the bottom, if you have 1 on top and 1 on the bottom,
Yep.
you can cancel. I have 2 signs on top and 1 sign on the bottom, so what do you think would happen?
You have 1 sine left over.
You'd have 1 sign left over where?
On top.
On top. Usually what I do there, guys, is I'd cross out the sign and I cross out the 2. And so then I would know I have a sign left on top.
Could it be sine on that side then?
Yep, just sign. Now if we go over here, can I cross anything out here?
Cosine.
Yeah.
Do you guys know that you can only cross it out if you have a cosine on top and bottom?
No cosines then.
Okay, yeah, you're right. But I just want to make sure you guys know if you have 2 cosines on top, you can't cross that out. 1 has to be on top, 1 has to be on the bottom. But you guys are right. All those cosines cancel, okay? And you'd left with sine. What do you think sine plus sine is 2 sine?
That's gold.
And that's your answer.
We should have moved at this pace yesterday. This gets me
Okay.
involved in the lesson.
Now if we look at
I
this,
don't know about you, but I like your.
what is tangent in terms of sine and
Sine over
cosine?
cosine.
Sine over cosine. Now I have a cosine on top that I can leave there.
Yeah.
I have a sine on the bottom that I can leave that as that. Then I have plus.
Cosine
How-
over sine.
Cotangent is cosine over sine. Then do you see how I have a sine? Can't I leave that as a sine?
Yeah.
And then I have tangent. How would I write that?
Sine over cosine.
Sine over cosine, very good.
And the CSC is 1 over sine.
And cosecant
Yep.
is 1 over sine. Do you all understand that?
Yeah.
Okay. Now,
Sines on this side.
can't these two cosines cancel?
Yeah.
And then aren't you left with sine over sine? What do you think
Which is
happens
one.
there? You get 1.
The answer is 2.
So these two cancel and I have 1. Now let's go over here. Can I cancel a sine on the bottom with a sine on the top? A sine on the top with a sine on the bottom? And a cosine on top and bottom. So what do you think I'm left with?
2.
1 here and 1 plus 1 is 2.
Let's go. We should just stop. We should just stop here.
Okay.
Get a fast
No,
sign
this is
there.
I
different.
can take the
Okay.
test right now as long
This
as you don't
is-
do the rest of it.
This is not hard either, so don't think this is hard. These are
It is
called
hard.
co-function identities that you'll do in trig class. And all you have to do, when you see one of these, don't think it's scary because it's not. This is sine of pi over 2 minus theta. Whenever you see that, you're going to substitute in cosine. If you see cosine of pi over 2 minus theta, that's sine. And if you see tangent of pi over 2 minus theta, that's cotangent. And then these are called negative angle identities. Notice if it's sine of negative theta, it's negative sine. Cosine is positive, but tangent of negative theta is negative. So the sine and tangent are negative, cosine is positive. So if I go down here, sine of pi over 2 minus theta is this. All I would do is put cosine in there, okay? And then it's times tangent. What can I write tangent as?
Or sine of cosine.
Sine over cosine. So what would my answer be?
Fine.
Sine. Yep.
Okay.
No, it's not.
Go.
Okay, now cosine of pi over 2 minus theta up here, isn't that sine?
Yep.
Okay, so this is sine. How could I rewrite
1 over
cosecant?
sine.
1 over
So
sine.
it'll be 1.
So it'd be 1, right? Easy enough?
Yo, what are you guys talking about right now?
It's too easy, Caleb.
You kind of shut off for a second there. You were like, I'm not having this.
I shut off like instantly.
So sine of pi over 2 minus theta, what do we substitute in for that,
1 over sine. Or no, sorry, I was moving on.
right? Isn't it just cosine?
Yeah.
So this one's going to be cosine times, what's cosecant? 1 over sine. So do you guys get, then I have cosine over sine, which is,
Cotangent.
yeah.
Oh.
Do you all understand that? Okay.
Kind of.
Okay, now let's go to our last page. Okay, now sine of negative theta,
Cosecant again?
1 over sine.
It's negative. That's negative sine, but
Secant or cosecant?
What was the answer to the last problem?
What was the answer to the last problem?
Yeah.
It was cotangent. Okay, so do you guys get how they want us to do sine of negative theta, which is negative sine?
would it be negative cotangent?
So this would be negative sine over, what's cosine of negative?
Cosine.
That's just positive cosine. You're close on, but not quite.
Well, that made sense to me.
You said negative cotangent, didn't you?
Yeah, sorry, tangent.
It's negative
Yeah.
tangent. Do you get that?
Yeah.
Oh.
Right? Okay, so what about,
I didn't finish yesterday's lesson.
what's tangent of pi over 2 minus theta? Cotangent, yep. Shh. So now I have, this is cotangent. How could I rewrite cosecant?
1 over
1
sine.
over sine divided by,
Oh, I know this one.
what's
Sorry.
cosecant squared minus 1?
Cotangent.
Cosecant
It's
squared
cotangent squared.
is cotangent squared, right?
Yeah.
cosecant squared minus 1 is cotangent squared.
So, 1 over sine over cotangent.
Cotangent squared. Okay, so let's rewrite, oh, could I cross out one of these?
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's cross out this and the 2. Do you get that?
Yeah.
Now, what we have, you guys, is 1 over sine
Over.
divided by cotangent, okay?
So it's cotangent over sine.
Which is 1 over sine times 1 over cotangent. Oh, no, I don't like that. Let's do this. I don't like that. Do you guys know, could I replace cotangent right here?
Yeah, you could do it
What's
like
cotangent?
cosine over sine.
Cosine over sine.
You just,
And then here I can just flip that, right?
Yep.
So it'd be sine over cosine, right? Then my sines cancel. What's 1 over cosine? 1 over cosine is secant.
It's a 2 mean.
Okay. Now if we look at this one, I have cotangent on top. So we could write that, I'm trying to think. Do you guys get,
On the top, you could write it as cosine over sine, cancel out the cosine.
can I though?
Wouldn't you be able to? Oh, no, because that was the.
They're both on top,
yeah.
right? Okay,
No,
So I-
it's less than it's got me height.
all right, now, what's tangent of negative theta? Is it positive tangent or negative tangent? Negative tangent. And what's sine of pi over 2 minus 0? That's this right here,
No, I've just been.
which is cosine,
Yeah.
okay?
No, you can't tell
So
both.
this is cosine. Now is Owen right? Could I cancel the cosines there?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you ever see that, do that because it's gonna save you work. So now, do you guys get what we have there is cosine over sine
Over 1.
divided by negative.
1 tan.
Oh, yep, and let's write
Can we
tangent
do
as
sine
sine over cosine.
Sine would just be 1 or negative 1 or something like that?
Now, wouldn't this be cosine over sine times a negative cosine over sine? Do you get that?
Well, that.
Now, on top, I have negative cosine squared. And on the bottom, I have sine squared. Okay? Now, this is one of those, you're almost there. But could you put something into that? What's cosine over sine?
Okay.
Cotangent
Cotangent
squared.
Negative
So you
squared.
could go negative
Yeah.
cotangent squared. But again, if you did this and you stopped here, you would have done most of it, you know? So that's the one thing I just want to tell you about the quiz. Like a question like this could be worth 5 points.
Did you grade the test?
Okay. I have your first 2
I'm not
pages
fond
done.
of them.
And so far, I
I'll do
can
them,
say, you guys, it's much better on the first 2 pages than I expected by some of your comments during the quiz.
What?
Sorry, did you think the last 2 pages were harder than the
Well, yeah, I
first
don't
2?
really like them.
Especially the last.
How do we do on the quiz?
Well, the first 2 pages so far look really good.
Sorry, I thought you were.
I'll try to get another one. Have you read it already?
Oh, I got
everything. I haven't even touched it, but I got.
I got quick trip last night. After the game.
And you guys all know the grades are due on, well, you have to have everything completed next Wednesday. Tests, quizzes, homework. If anyone's missing any of that,
There actually wasn't that late.
I was thinking about Friday, I definitely would.
you fell asleep for a
People
while.
left like right away after they got there.
Yeah, maybe they are. It's too late.
Yes.
You guys, I do have the key up here too.
Oh, are you giving